Li Yi, the dung collector of Blue Star, has been reborn into the world of global high martial arts. He originally thought he could become a human pride, saving humanity and water and fire. But who would have thought that he would cross over and become a gray cat? With an emotional value collection system attached, Zhang Tao's lifelong enemy has appeared. Humans actually have to rely on a fat cat to save them. Oh, it smells so good. Is this the feeling of lying down and winning? Keywords of the novel. Global Gaowu Rebirth Cang Mao no pop-up window, Global Gaowu Rebirth Cang Mao TXT complete collection download, Global Gaowu Rebirth Cang Mao latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. 001, I am Cang Mao. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1, 001, I am Cang Mao on the Blue Star. Li Yi was lying in the cat coop reading a novel, while the kitten running around beside him caught a British short cat and vigorously masturbated it. After being scratched twice, Li Yi finally let go. However, getting scratched is also a common occurrence. After all, his family has 10 cats. Li Yi is a second-generation landlord with no big ambitions. He only collects rent and works as a garbage collector every day. In Li Yi's opinion, this kind of life is also very wonderful. However, in his sleep today, Li Yi inexplicably traveled through it. It's the kind of time travel that goes unnoticed after falling asleep, without any lightning strikes or being hit by trains when going out, just like that. In Quetzang Mountain, one of the top 10 caves, a huge head opens its eyes and emerges from the water, looking around with a bewildered expression. Then the huge figure landed, and soon it gave a jolt. It lifted its paw and looked at it, blurting out a sentence of lying down. This is Li Yi. As soon as he woke up, he inexplicably appeared in the water, and the key was that he could still breathe. After landing, he actually discovered a huge cat paw. Don't ask why, it's because he keeps cats. Then Li Yi quickly turned around and took a photo of the lake. A huge orange cat with fiery red fur appeared on the surface of the lake. Cang Mao, what are you barking blindly for? At this moment, a phantom quietly suspended beside Cang Mao and asked. Li Yi was startled and just slapped it with one paw, and the phantom was directly thrown out. Cang Mao, you're going to kill me. That phantom roared weakly. Ding, Gongjuanzi provides you with plus 99 anger points. Li Yi finally realized it, because he had already understood that he had traveled so far. Not only that, but also that I have traveled through time and become the gray cat in global martial arts. Can this be considered a loss? But can I take away the gray cat myself? Is it so fierce? Ding, anger value +1, +1, +1. Li Yi glanced at Gongjuanzi floating over again and smiled a bit embarrassed. The claw just now seemed quite fierce. Seeing Cang Mao's smile, Gong Xiaozi's anger also subsided. He sighed and said, Cang Mao, I know it's a bit unfair for you to keep you here, but time hasn't arrived yet, it's not yet when we were born. Then Gongjuanzi went on talking non-stop. Li Yi was wandering around the world, and upon examining himself, he realized that he had become a gray cat. And what was the situation just now? Surprisingly, they can still collect anger points. Upon careful examination, it is indeed true that all the travelers carry cheats, and their golden fingers are the emotional value collection system. Host. Li Yi, Cang Mao. Emotional value. 102, looking at his own panel, Li Yi was stunned. Is it just a matter of 2 lines? Is it a bit too copycat? After another swipe, a sentiment value mall came out with a lot of things inside. The first one in the first row was a gold coin icon, with the words, Resurrection Coin, written on it, requiring 1 emotion value of 100 million. Introduction. Resurrection Coin. Those who die within 10 minutes can be resurrected in their original state. The second one is the Chaos Clock, which requires 100 million emotional points. Introduction. This is a treasure in the world of chaos and one of the innate treasures. However, this chaos clock lacks its original source and functions, so be cautious when purchasing. Seeing the introduction, Li Yi is just a black line. When I go, the mall is a bit unreliable. Anyway, the rest of the items require a lot of emotional value, and Li Yi doesn't even look at them anymore. Even if he does, he can't afford to buy them. Cang Mao. Gong Juanzi was furious and provided 99 rage points again. Because I've been talking to this fat cat for a long time, this guy is actually losing his mind, which has infuriated Gong Xiaozi. Looking at Gong Juanzi, Li Yi's eyes lit up. This guy always provides full emotional value, potential customers. Looking at the shining eyes of Cang Cat staring at him, Gong Juanzi took a few steps back and said, "Cang Cat, you've eaten all the grass here, there's nothing to eat. Don't think about my physical body." Li Yi chuckled, he doesn't know how to eat people. "Gong Juanzi, I want to go out." Li Yi said directly. "I don't know what era it is now, and whether the plot has started or not. Not only that, there must be many people outside, whether they are from the earth or the underground, who can provide him with emotional value. However, I haven't seen LV Zhen in this indestructible lake, which means the plot must not have started. You still need to go out and ask for more years to know." "What? Are you going out again?" Gong Junzi was shocked. "Yeah, there's not even grass here. You don't even keep cats anymore, so why don't you let them go out?" Li Yi glanced at Gong Juanzi askance. Gong Juanzi suddenly became speechless. "You are such a cat, you even eat grass. How dare you say so? But it's not time yet, are you sensing something? It's strange." Gong Juanzi murmured, feeling a bit nervous. Li Yi chuckled and said, "At the end of time, even if it's time, you're all cannon fodder. What are you thinking so much about?" He has seen the world of martial arts before. Although Gong Juanzi has good strength, he is just like that. Now he is also an emperor-level strength. With so many old Yin coins in the three realms, Gong Juanzi cannot protect him. Finally, seeing Li Yi staring at his physical body in the indestructible lake, Gong Juanzi rolled his eyes and opened a small hole in the boundary wall, and Li Yi crawled out. At the moment when Li Yi appeared, the emperor who had just returned to the cave sensed the grey cat and frowned in confusion. It was still early, how did the cat come out? Are you hungry? Did you come out to steal food? I don't care, I'll continue to pretend to be his Fengyan Taoist. And Li Yi glanced away, feeling that someone had just looked at him, but it didn't matter anymore. He became a Cang Cat, and now Cang Cat's spiritual power is 200,000 Hz. If used well, even the 8 9 heavenly kings can suppress it. However, cats don't fight, so Li Yi doesn't plan to fight either. He wants to know the specific time now. In fact, it's good to lie flat with him in the future. During this period, collect some emotional values. After all, there are many good things in the system mall, and he is still quite envious. Having restrained all his breath, Li Yi can now proficiently use everything from Cang Cat. I don't know what the principle is, as if he's just a grey cat. Of course, it seems to have also inherited the nature that the grey cat likes to eat. This is the Forbidden Sea. By the way, that little lotus is the heavenly golden lotus, it can increase spiritual power. The cat wandered in the Forbidden Sea and saw those heavenly materials and earth treasures that grew in the Forbidden Sea, but these were not very useful for the cat now. Picking some casually, the Cang Cat left the things in the cat world and headed upstream towards the city with a cave. When inquiring about news, it naturally wanted to find them. According to human theory, this should be the so-called Magic City Cave. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. 002, Brother, are you here? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2, 002, Brother, are you here? Just halfway through, Li Yi blinked his eyes and saw a human. Not bad, it was a human, not the energy person in the cave, but a 6th grade warrior. Don't ask why you know it's 6th grade, anyway, Li Yi can tell at a glance. At this moment, the human is cautiously flying in the Forbidden Sea, constantly looking around as if curious. At this moment, a cat's head was exposed, startling the person. Li Gong wanted to inquire about something. After all, this human is a bit tiger. He dares to fly around in the Forbidden Sea at level 6. It's really lucky not to encounter a monster. That human flew ashore at an extremely fast speed and ran towards the front. Li Yi's question mark, why are you running with such a cute cat like me? So he chased over and wanted to ask some questions. At this moment, the human turned around and saw a cat that was so tall chasing after him. His face turned pale, and his heart roared wildly. He didn't listen to the old man's words and suffered losses in front of him. How could he be so foolish to run to the Forbidden Sea to play? This is killing himself. But Li Yi now stared at his system panel, feeling a bit puzzled, and asked in his heart, "System, what's the situation? Aren't you an emotion value collection system? Why is this human in front of me so panicked and not giving me emotion values?" Ding, the system is currently in its initial state and can only collect anger points. If you want more fear points, humor points, etc., please unlock the advanced system. Li Yi suddenly had a black line on his face. I'll go to your fairy's place and upgrade. Seeing the young human running in front of him, the gray cat jumped directly onto the back of that human. Pop. The human in front of me came with a dog gnawing on feces and was directly pinned to the ground. Not bad, Cang Mao is not light. The young man struggled for a while but didn't get up. Ding, received a rage value of plus 99 from Zhang Tao. Li Yi glanced at the prompt and raised his eyebrows. Zhang Tao. No way, the same name and surname. Or the future King Wu. At this moment, Zhang Tao's heart was hopeless. He wanted to cool down, and what's even more infuriating is that the cat was trying to crush him. Moreover, the cat was so fat and heavy that he couldn't breathe anymore. Human, what is your name? Li Yi asked. I grass, can speak, is it a 7th grade demon beast? Zhang Tao exclaimed in surprise, it's over. Li Yi's face turned black. This guy was a bit ignorant, so he increased his strength. Suddenly, Zhang Tao's tongue was about to come out. Li Yi just snorted and jumped out, squatting in front of Zhang Tao, looking at him. Uncle Cat, my name is Li Zhen. Zhang Tao squeezed out a smile and said cautiously. Li Yi glanced askance at Zhang Tao. I'm going, so shameless. It seems that Zhang Tao is already his own, and he must be the future king of Wu. But yeah, he's only in 6th grade now. Isn't that to say that there are still decades left before the plot? Oh, your name is Li Zhen, but this cat hates those surnamed Li. Li Yi also followed Hu and said. Zhang Tao's face changed. I'll go, won't I? This cat has a problem, won't it be so weak? Uncle Cat, you heard me wrong. My name is Li Zhen, this Li. Zhang Tao said confidently. Li Yi chuckled, lifted his paw, and scratched it over. Suddenly, several cat paw marks appeared on Zhang Tao's face. Zhang Tao's smile froze on his face, his heart tingled with numbness. Fatty cat, wait. Ding, received a rage value of plus 88 from Zhang Tao. Li Yi's heart was filled with joy as he suddenly discovered a shortcut to increase his anger level. I don't care if your name is Li Zhen or something like that. I heard you have a lot of delicious food over there. Go and bring me some. Li Yi said directly. Upon hearing this, Zhang Tao was overjoyed. Isn't it possible for him to run away? When the time comes, shake people and kill you. Uncle Cat, who did you hear that? We do have a lot of delicious food over there, with various flavors of cat food. I'll go get it for you now. Zhang Tao said, about to run. Li Yi jumped over again and pressed on Zhang Tao's back again. Zhang Tao took a mouthful of dirt and cursed Li Yi in his heart. Ding, received a rage value of plus 99 from Zhang Tao. Li Yi said slowly, what if you don't come back after running away? Zhang Tao rolled his eyes and said, if you don't come back, you're the grandson. I haven't shaken someone to fuck you yet, how could I not come back? You want to eat shit. But Zhang Tao had to accompany his smiling face and said, Uncle Cat, how could it be possible? It's my honor, Li Zhen, to exchange some food for your friendship. Young man, your consciousness is very high. Li Yi jumped off Zhang Tao's back and smiled. That's it. Zhang Tao stood up at this moment, not daring to show any dissatisfaction. I don't want cat food, I want cola, fried chicken, and so on. These are my cat's imprints. If you don't come back, the next time I find you, I'll kill you. Li Yi said, lifting his paw and pressing it on Zhang Tao's chest. A cat paw imprint left on Zhang Tao's chest. Zhang Tao patted his chest to ensure that it would be delivered soon. Li Yi just let go of Zhang Tao. After Zhang Tao runs far away, Li Yi can still receive anger points +1/+1/+1 from Zhang Tao. Seeing that there was no more cat behind him, Zhang Tao breathed a long sigh of relief, but soon burst out and cursed, fatty cat, wait, I'll call someone to kill you. Make you a divine weapon, wait. Then Zhang Tao ran to Hope City. The current Hope City had just been built, and Zhang Tao also came to the Demon City caves to take a look. He is not an educator, minister, or chief, but just a 6th grade warrior from Jingwu. When Zhang Tao ran back to Hope City, a warrior saw Zhang Tao's face and immediately smiled, saying, Zhang Tao, your face is disfigured. What kind of monster did you encounter? Zhang Tao had a dark face and didn't speak. He was in urgent need of time now and needed to go find his teacher to help him defeat that cat. Quickly, out of the cave, he happened to meet Li Zhen and Nan Yunyue. Seeing Zhang Tao covering his face, the two of them curiously chased after him. When they saw Zhang Tao's big face, Nan Yunyue couldn't help but laugh out loud and let out a pig's cry. Ding, you received a rage value of +44 from Zhang Tao. Li Yi, who was waiting for Zhang Tao to deliver food, received this prompt and felt a bit confused. What is the situation with Zhang Tao? They have all run so far, and now they have all returned to Earth. How could they still provide anger points? How angry they are. As for whether Zhang Tao will cooperate at that time. With the strength of those people on Earth now, even if they reach the pinnacle, there is no way to deal with him. As for the Heavenly King, although he is very strong, his spiritual power of 200,000 hectares is not vegetarian. Moreover, that 5 or 5 Kai still needs to hide their strength, and they won't even attack themselves, this grey cat. Zhang Tao, what's the situation with you, kid? Did you lose? What kind of monster, tell me, I'll go see with you. Li Zhenxin swore confidently. As the second generation of martial arts in Jinqing City, regardless of his family background, Li Zhen has this arrogance. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. 003, Finding Helpers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3, 003, Finding Helpers Not Bad, who gave Li Zhen a good ancestor. That is the Heavenly King, now recognized as the strongest and most powerful in the 3 realms. So Li Zhen has the confidence to say this. Zhang Tao's eyes rolled around. Li Zhen's ancestor is a master, and there are many top-notch experts in Jinqing City. He said, a cat demon that can speak should be in the realm of a 7th grade master. Li Zhen's whole body trembled, and his voice unconsciously increased. He said, 7th grade. Are you sure of 7th grade? Can you escape from 7th grade subordinates? You should know, this is a 7th grade demon beast. Generally, demon beasts are much more powerful than humans, so Zhang Tao, a 6th grade demon beast, can escape from the 7th grade demon beast. He thinks it's a bit unbelievable that even Li Zhen cannot do it. Is Zhang Tao stronger than himself? Impossible, absolutely impossible. I even compared it a few days ago and cut it myself. Zhang Tao glanced at him and knew what Li Henin was thinking. He sneered, "They're all humans, I let you know that day." Li Zhen directly doubted life. After all, Zhang Tao did seem to have fought against a 7th grade monster like this. Look at the marks on his face, these cannot be fake. Nan Yunhue is older than both of them. Now he is 20.5, in his prime, and he is already a 6th level martial artist. To be honest, he is already considered powerful among humans, but Li Zhen and Zhang Tao are even more demonic. With only 20 talents, he is already a 6th level martial artist. When the two of them competed, she was present. Zhang Tao must have lost to Li Zhen, who is a naive person who believed Zhang Tao's lies. Get out of the way, I'll go find my teacher. That 7th grade cat demon has fallen alone. Let's go hunt it down and make it a divine weapon. Zhang Tao said directly, running to the side and starting to shake people on the phone. His teacher is now the Minister of Education, Li Xianling, and Master Li. Now I am a 9th grade master, sitting in Kyoto. Hey, Xiao Tao, did you gain anything from this trip to the Demon City Grottos? Li Xianling asked with a smile. To be honest, he was very satisfied with Zhang Tao and also intended to make him his successor. However, now this kid is quite unconventional, so he still needs to hone his temper. Zhang Tao awkwardly smiled and said, "Teacher, I came across a single 7th grade cat demon that left a mark on me. I want to see you. Also, if we have time, we will remove it." Li Xianling was taken aback for a moment, then said seriously, "You come to Kyoto first. I won't be able to go out, but I can let Deputy Minister Song accompany you for a walk." Zhang Tao nodded and flew back directly. Li Zhen and Nan Yunhue watched as Zhang Tao ran away, and Li Zhen said, 7th grade single demon beast. Should we find someone to take Zhang Tao's step first and make it? After all, 7th grade demon beasts are excellent materials for divine weapons. Nan Yunhue rolled her eyes and said, "Do you know the place?" Li Zhen shook his head, and Nan Yunhue left directly. "I don't know where to go, can you tell the truth? Are you looking all over the caves? This is not killing, what is it?" After Zhang Tao ran back to Kyoto, he immediately went to see Li Xianling. After all, the marks on his body still need to be shown to the teacher. Who knows what kind of ghost that cat demon is? Li Xianling was obviously waiting for Zhang Tao. After Zhang Tao arrived, his mental energy swept through and he frowned. He didn't feel any demonic energy. Later, Zhang Tao exposed his chest, but the cat paw print was no longer there. Zhang Tao scratched his forehead and said, "I'll go, I've been deceived by the cat." Ding, I received an anger value of +55 from Zhang Tao. Li Yi, who was sunbathing in the cave, received Zhang Tao's emotional value again and pursed his lips. After this, the stomach of King Wu was a bit small. Why did he get angry with himself from time to time? As for the cat paw imprint, let alone the 9th grade, even if it reaches the pinnacle, it cannot be seen why it came. It is Li Yi's spiritual imprint, so naturally it cannot be seen. However, Li Xianling carefully checked Zhang Tao and there were no major issues. It's just that he broke his appearance, it's not a big deal. He should be fine in a few days. Xiao Tao, there's no problem. Are you sure that's the 7th grade? Li Xianling also asked in a daze. Zhang Tao nodded and said, "You can speak, your wisdom is not low, you should be at least 7th grade. Li Xianling touched his chin and said, "It's not necessarily true. Judging from the aura left by your injury, it's not very strong. Some high-blooded demon beasts with 5th or 6th grade can also speak, and their intelligence is not low. Zhang Tao rolled his eyes and said, I must be in 7th grade. Below 7th grade, I won't have the strength to fight back. Li Xianling nodded and smiled, that's right, then go find Song Qinglian. Zhang Tao quickly ran all the way to Song Qinglian's office and knocked on the door. After the door opened, Zhang Tao said impatiently, Uncle Song, hurry up. My teacher told you, let's hurry up and don't let that cat demon run away. Song Qinglian smiled helplessly and said, don't worry, that should be a demon tribe who has just left the forbidden area and came out to find territory. They will definitely not leave in the short term. Then slowly walked out of the office. Zhang Tao glanced at him and said, Uncle, won't you take something? Hee, what should I take to deal with a 7th grade monster? Besides, I don't have divine weapons either. Song Qinglian rolled his eyes and said. Zhang Tao chuckled and then excitedly said, kill this cat demon, and you will have a 7th grade divine weapon. Although it doesn't meet your identity as an 8th grade master, having a divine weapon is not bad. Song Qinglian also thinks the same way. If we find some materials later, perhaps we can barely enter the 8th grade. So the two of them arrived at the Mo Du cave, and Li Zhen didn't go anywhere, just guarding Zhang Tao here. Seeing Zhang Tao bringing Song Qinglian, Li Zhen greeted him first before saying, I also want to go and take a look. Zhang Tao said nonchalantly, whatever. So the three of them entered the cave passage and arrived at Hope City. After greeting others, Song Qinglian said, in what direction? Zhang Tao leads the two of them to run. Seeing everyone on the edge of the Forbidden Sea, Song Qinglian was a bit nervous. After all, Forbidden Sea was not a joke. Watching Zhang Tao running so happily ahead, Song Qinglian could only sigh, ignorant people are fearless. Look, it's over there. Zhang Tao immediately pointed to a kitten in the distance and said. Although it's strange how this cat has become smaller, its fiery red fur is definitely right, it's that cat. Li Zhen grinned at the corner of his mouth, is this the 7th grade monster? Is it so compact? Song Qinglian also glanced at Zhang Tao. You kid, won't you deceive me? I can't feel any strong aura. Zhang Tao was speechless, but what he said was true. He said, just go over and take a look. This cat is very bad. The key is that it can also change its body size freely. It's not an 8th grade golden cat, is it? Song Qinglian's face also darkened and he said, it's very likely that you will run away later and not affect you. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. 004, What a Pit. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4004, What a Pit. Zhang Tao hesitated at this moment. After all, if he were of the 8th grade, Song Qinglian might not be his opponent. If this were to happen here, he would be the culprit of the Hua Kingdom. After thinking for a moment, he said, so what? This cat is too weird, otherwise we'll go back first. At that moment, Li Yi opened his eyes and stretched lazily. The energy sun in this cave was very comfortable, shining warm all over his body, and he fell asleep unconsciously. Glancing at Zhang Tao in the distance, Li Yi smiled. With a cat step, Zhang Tao quickly took a few steps back, and Song Qinglian looked at Li Yi with a serious expression on his face. Who, Li Zhen, have you brought the food with you? Li Yi asked. Li Zhen on one side was stunned, what does that mean? Call me. Do we know each other? With a stern expression, he said, Cat demon, what are you saying? What kind of food? How do you know my name is Li Zhen? Li Yi glanced at Li Zhen and realized that this was Li Henin. Zhang Tao was so embarrassed that he almost managed to carve out a 3-bedroom living room, what a special thing. Song Qinglian glanced askance at Zhang Tao and said, okay, kid, you already know how to use a small account when you come out to play. The key is, you're such a troublemaker for the younger generation of the Xintian king. Aren't you afraid of being beaten? Li Zhen also realized at this moment, after all, the cat was just looking at Zhang Tao and suddenly angrily said, "Zhang Tao, you actually used my name." Zhang Tao pulled Li Zhen and ran, saying, "Uncle, hurry up and take action." Song Qinglian didn't talk nonsense and kicked Li Yi directly. Li Yi chuckled and his spiritual strength came out, and Song Qinglian was directly buried underground. At this moment, Song Qinglian is frightened. He is an 8th grade golden master with strong spiritual power. He is now being suppressed underground by someone, oh no, by a cat. This is really unreasonable. This cat is at least 9th grade. What a pit. Zhang Tao, your kid has really tricked me this time. Zhang Tao and Li Zhen, who had not run far, stopped and looked at Li Yi with a frightened expression. I'm not going to be your fairy. This cat has a problem, it's a big problem. Moreover, this cat is stronger than the 8th grade. Isn't that the 9th grade? Li Zhen rolled his eyes directly. This time, he was tricked to death by Zhang Tao. The 7th level monster that went to Nima is really 9th level. It's over, this time it's cool. At this moment, Li Zhen deeply regrets why he did not bring the spiritual differentiation body bestowed by his ancestors. If he had this thing, perhaps they could still run away. Thinking that it was the War King who was sitting in the Devil's Grottos, Li Zhen crazily called out the War King's name, hoping that the War King would sense something and come to rescue them. Run, why don't you run? Li Yi said slowly and leisurely. Zhang Tao squeezed out a smile that was even uglier than crying and said, Uncle Cat, how could I run? I came in a hurry and left the food you wanted in Hope City. I want to go and get it now. Li Zhen chuckled and said, at this moment, you're really talking nonsense. Li Yi didn't know what Zhang Tao was thinking. He came over with an 8th grade, and this was going to cause trouble. Suddenly, he jumped onto Zhang Tao's back, and Zhang Tao was pressed to eat shit again. He lifted his head out of the soil and spat out 2 mouthfuls of dirt. Zhang Tao was so frustrated, did he want to be played dead by this fat cat? Ding, you received a rage value of plus 99 from Zhang Tao. Ding, you received a rage value of plus 44 from Li Zhen. Li Yi glanced at Li Zhen beside him and said, good guy, good friend. Li Zhen's hand had already touched the hilt of the sword, and he swung it out with one sword. Even if he was afraid of death, Li Zhen would fight to death. Just the sword struck Li Yi's head and directly cut it off. Li Zhen was shocked, this is a great alloy, is it just so broken? This cat is really terrifying. Then Li Yi jumped again and landed on Li Zhen's shoulder, directly pressing him to the ground. At the same time, a slight sound of fractures also sounded. Li Yi then said, Zhang, you're not honest. Zhang Tao was speechless and could only squeeze out an ugly smile, saying, Uncle Cat, I'll go get it right away, really. Li Yi nodded and said, go ahead, these 2 are pressing on me. Hurry up. If there's nothing to eat, I'll eat them. Zhang Tao nodded repeatedly and ran away, rolling and crawling. Li Zhen's face was full of lovelessness. Is he so weak? Ding, you received a rage value of plus 99 from Li Zhen. Li Yi didn't care what Li Zhen thought, but just lazily basked in the sun. Comfortable. In no time, Zhang Tao ran back. He didn't even have time to tell the garrison of Hope City that he had rushed to buy fried chicken and cola before coming. He was afraid he would be late, and this cat was attacking Li Zhen and Song Qinglian. Not bad, not bad. Li Yi used his mental energy to bring over what Zhang Tao had bought, and began drinking cola and eating fried chicken. What a nostalgic taste. Zhang Tao carefully picked up Li Zhen. Li Zhen's face was full of resentment. This is what you called the 7th grade monster. Can you be more unreliable? Zhang Tao smiled bitterly, how did he know? This cat is so terrifying. Seeing Li Yi eating happily, Zhang Tao asked again, Uncle Cat, I have instructed the shop owner to make you the freshest food every day, and make it in a different way. Can we go back first? Li Yi glanced at Zhang Tao and nodded. The wool needs to be slowly harvested, and there will be plenty of opportunities in the future. Zhang Tao was overjoyed and quickly ran to the place where Song Qinglian was located, hoping to get him up. However, this was a mental suppression, and he had no way. Just look at Li Yi as if seeking help. Li Yi regained his spiritual strength, and Song Qinglian immediately jumped out, looking at Li Yi with a guarded expression on his face. Li Yi rolled his eyes directly. Did this guy forget his feelings underground just now? So he jumped over, and even with 2 claws, Song Qinglian also broke his appearance. Ding, you received a rage value of +99 from Song Qinglian. Li Yi nodded in satisfaction, that's right. It seems that anger is the easiest to collect, so he looked at Li Zhen again. Li Zhen suddenly took a few steps back, don't break his appearance. But Li Yi doesn't care so much, he's just 2 paws, and Li Zhen has also broken his appearance. Ding, you received a rage value of +99 from Li Zhen. Li Yi continued to eat with satisfaction and said, this is punishment for you, Zhang. Remember to come and deliver food tomorrow. Ding, you received a rage value of +66 from Zhang Tao. Zhang Tao smiled and said, definitely, Uncle Cat, we'll go back now. Li Yi nodded, and the 3 of them quickly ran away. There was nothing they could do. This cat was too terrifying, it was so terrifying that it was immediately crushed down. Especially Song Qinglian, I feel the deepest. Can the spiritual power of the 9th grade directly crush me? Not without any resistance, anyway, Song Qinglian decided to go back and ask. At the same time, he secretly cursed Zhang Tao for being too cunning and pulled them over to be abused. He won't have the face to see anyone in the future. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. 005 Head Iron Brother. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5005 Head Iron Brother. Not bad, he is a master of the 8th grade Golden Body Realm, and now he has a bunch of cat paw marks on his face. How awkward it would be. When they arrived at Hope City, all 3 of them lowered their heads and dared not let anyone see them. The Hope City here has just been established, and although the Tianmen City on the opposite side has been attacked a few times, it has only been a small incident, and everything is relatively stable. It's just that Song Qinglian is an 8th grade gold body expert. How could others not have paid attention, but when they saw the master bowing his head, they didn't dare to approach. The 3 of them ran back to the ground in such a gloomy manner. After leaving the cave, Song Qinglian breathed a sigh of relief and glared fiercely at Zhang Tao, saying, what's so special? I've lost my old face. You little kid, you almost killed me. Zhang Tao also has an innocent expression on his face. Who knew this cat was so strong? I thought it was a 7th grade, but even if you were an 8th grade, you wouldn't have the strength to fight back. Hey, it seems that if you want revenge, you probably won't be able to do it. But Zhang Tao thought for a moment and looked at Li Zhen beside him. If he wanted revenge, he probably had to fall on Li Zhen. So Zhang Tao said, forget it. Although this cat has scratched our faces, it has a good heart. At least it didn't kill us. We should have a grateful heart. Li Zhen was taken aback for a moment, then cursed, my heart of gratitude, I want to thank you for your gratitude. If you're not of my race, your heart will be different. This guy suddenly arrived near Hope City, and even has 9th grade strength. You must tell him. Zhang Tao pretended to obstruct for a moment before allowing Li Zhen to leave. Then Zhang Tao said, Uncle Song, ask my teacher, is this cat really of the 9th grade? Song Qinglian nodded and returned to Kyoto. After telling Li Xianling about the situation, Li Xianling was shocked. You know, he is a 9th grade, and he has also stepped out of the original 9th grade. Even so, he dare not claim to keep Song Qinglian underground with a guaranteed ticket. It's just that he hasn't gone far in his original path, and he's not sure about his strength in the future, but it's also certain that this cat must be in the 9th grade. I will report this matter to the 2 guards. Tell Xiao Tao not to let him provoke that cat. Li Xianling said and left. Now Chen Guiyang, Chen Jinsho happens to be here, he needs to report this matter to Chen Jinsho. Hey, Shaoli, why are you here? I heard you've been very busy lately. Chen Guiyang asked with a smile. The new era of martial arts was jointly created by him and his friend Shen Haotian. Although he is the weakest among the best, his heart is not weak. Chen Lao, I have something to report to you. Li Xianling said straightforwardly. Chen Guiyang nodded, indicating that he could speak now. Li Xianling mentioned the discovery of a cat by Zhang Tao, as well as the fact that Song Qinglian was immediately suppressed underground. He wanted to ask how powerful this cat is. According to what you said, this cat demon is not simple. It is estimated that he also has 9th grade high-level strength. In the Demon City Caves, it is Jiang Tianming who is in charge. I know now, I will say hello to old Jiang. Chen Guiyang nodded and said. As for saying that this cat is top-notch, hee, Chen Guiyang really didn't think so. If it were really top-notch, it would be the territory of the Green Wolf King, wouldn't it start fighting? Not to mention what they said, Li Yi has now wandered to a small village, which is a cave village, and the highest cultivation level is only a 5th grade. Li Yi stopped a cave man, and when he went up, he grabbed him with 2 claws, leaving him with a face full of peach blossoms. Ding, you have received a rage value of +1 from Kuer. Li Yi tilted his head and glanced at the cave man in front of him. Little brother, something's wrong with you. I caught a peach blossom on your face, and you only gave me a little anger value. Is your temper so good? The cave man in front of him was very angry and also very scared. This monster is so powerful, he feels like he can't beat it. After thinking for a moment, Li Yi had 2 claws again, and this time he rubbed the cave man directly onto the ground. However, even so, there was no emotional value received, and Li Yi was stunned. This was not right. Regardless of the struggling cave dwellers, Li Yi went straight to find the most powerful 5th grade warrior in this village. Monster! Monster is coming! The person shouted loudly when they saw Li Yi. Then he took out his long sword and chopped it over. Li Yi slapped the long sword with 1 paw, then flew it away. With another paw, he directly pressed this 5th grade sword onto the ground and rubbed it. Ding! You received a rage value of +9 from Kuei Chang. Li Yi is speechless. What does it mean? Are cave people so worthless? Or what should I say? Why is the emotional value so low? System, what's the situation? Why is the emotional value so low? Li Yi immediately asked in a qualitative manner. Ding, host, they are more afraid than angry. In addition, this system mainly absorbs the emotional values of those with good luck, while for those without good luck, the maximum limit is 9. Li Yi is speechless, so he still has to find someone like Zhang Tao. Cannon fodder doesn't deserve to have emotions. I thought there were many people in the cave, and if I played with them casually, my emotional value wouldn't even take off, but now it seems that bullying someone is only 9 points at most, and this cost-effectiveness is not worth it. After all, at the beginning, that cave person only gave 1 point of anger, and even a 5th grade is only 9 points, which is completely not cost-effective. If the emotional value could be as high as 99 provided by Zhang Tao and his team, Li Yi could also take the risk of bullying the cave people in the royal city. However, after taking the risk, there hasn't been much profit, so it's obviously not worth it. Forget it, let's find a way to go to Earth. At this point, Li Zhen had already taken over the differentiation of his ancestors and left a message for the people in Jinqing City. Whether it was Jiang or his own ancestors who came back, they could see it. Li Hanin, what are you doing? Zhang Tao was squatting at the entrance of the Magic City grottos at the moment. Seeing that Li Zhen was about to enter, he immediately stopped him and asked. Li Zhen snorted and said, "Naturally, go find that fat cat." Zhang Tao silently supported his forehead and said, "Are you the only one?" Li Zhen took out a town character and said, "I have the differentiation body that my ancestors gave me." Zhang Tao looked curiously at it. He had heard of it, but he had never seen its specific power before. However, it didn't hinder him from knowing that it was very powerful. However, the cat was also very strange, so he said, "Don't worry, my teacher said he has already told Qinjinshu about this matter. I believe Senior War King will also know when the time comes. We just need to follow along." Li Zhen was very determined. He had never suffered such a big loss before, so he suddenly said, "I can't wait. I have to go in and kill it now." Zhang Tao rolled his eyes and said, "Wait for me for a while, let's go together." As he spoke, Zhang Tao ran to buy a big bag of food before saying, "Let's go." Li Zhen glanced askance at Zhang Tao. "Are you going to fight or deliver food?" Zhang Tao chuckled and said, "Be prepared." The two of them arrived at Hope City again, and soon after they arrived, the gatekeeper gave a thumbs up. The leader of the young warrior was different, not bad. The leader of the younger generation was Li Zhen, not Zhang Tao, mainly because this kid didn't rely much on genealogy. Li Zhen was given high expectations by everyone. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. 006, Cat Lord, we're here to deliver food. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6, 006, Cat Lord, we're here to deliver food. The two of them ran along the edge of the Forbidden Sea and started searching. How about saying that both people have great luck? If ordinary people were to run like them, they would have died long ago. Not bad, there are also many demon beasts on the edge of the Forbidden Sea, and they are all 9th grade. This is also why people think that the Forbidden Sea is extremely dangerous. However, Zhang Tao has the smell of a grey cat on his body, so those demon beasts dare not approach. Li Zhen also has the differentiation form of the Heavenly King, and the demon beasts dare not approach, otherwise they would have died 1,000 times so recklessly. Oh, isn't that fat cat there? The two of them arrived at the place and didn't see Li Yi, immediately puzzled. Li Zhen searched around even more, his face pitch black. Can this cat be unpredictable? Knowing that I am carrying the pinnacle of spiritual differentiation, so I ran away early. Ding, you received a rage value of +88 from Li Zhen. Li Yi, who was slowly walking back, received a system prompt and felt a bit puzzled. What was the situation with Li Han Han? Why did you suddenly contribute your anger points to yourself? Oh, it seems unlucky. Let's try again tomorrow. Zhang Tao sighed. In fact, he also wanted to see the power of the legendary spiritual differentiation body, but unfortunately, he couldn't see it today. Ding, you received a rage value of +22 from Zhang Tao. Li Yi chuckled. These two bad guys probably had some ulterior motives, so Li Yi quickened his pace. Sure enough, he saw the figures of the two preparing to return. Meow. Li Yi called out. The two of them were instantly shocked, and then Li Yi used his spiritual power to capture them. Li Yi slowly walked up to the two of them and glanced at Li Zhen. Li Yi knew that this kid was carrying the spiritual power of the Heavenly King, and no wonder he dared to trouble himself. At this moment, the Heavenly King in Wangu Mountain felt a sense and looked towards this side. San cat. How did this cat come out? The Heavenly King of Zhen was a bit confused. In theory, it's not until time that it's right. Then I felt it again, okay. Li Zhen, Zhang Tao, and Cang Mao came to them. Is it because there is a son of fate from this era inside? Thinking of his own silly child, the Heavenly King of Zhen sighed, probably Zhang Tao. Humph, bad old man, what are you looking at? Li Yi snorted and directly used his spiritual power to dispel the spiritual power of the Zhentian king. The heavenly king in Wangwu Mountain suddenly had a crooked nose. This cat is so arrogant. Quickly, the heavenly king looked around in confusion and said, I'll go. The cat protection team won't also wake up, will it? I didn't feel anything unusual, but the heavenly king was very confused. You should know that only when the cat protection team was present, this cat would be so arrogant. Generally, this cat is very low-key. Now that it's so arrogant, the town heavenly king has to think more. After all, this cat is very thief. Li Zhen and Zhang Tao are also sweating profusely at this moment, especially Li Zhen, who is very depressed. His spiritual differentiation has not yet been used, so he has been frozen, which is somewhat awkward. Zhang Tao glanced sideways at Li Zhen and knew that this silly person was unreliable. Fortunately, he brought the food with him. Uncle Cat, it's us. We've brought you food. Zhang Tao spoke with difficulty. Li Yi chuckled and jumped onto Li Zhen's body. He reached out his cat paw and took out the character of Zhentian Wang. Li Zhen was in shock. His secret card was discovered by this cat. Afterwards, Li Yi's spiritual strength solidified and he directly sealed the town character. Then he swallowed his stomach in one gulp, finally freeing the two of them from their shackles and looking at them with a smile on his face. Zhang Tao and Li Zhen glanced at each other and said, I'm going. The psychic differentiation body has been swallowed by this cat, which is outrageous. Zhang Tao squeezed out an ugly smile and said, Uncle Cat, look, this is what I brought with me. Unfortunately, I couldn't find you. It's a bit cold. Li Zhen simply didn't speak. He had originally prepared a secret trump card, but he died before winning the start, and his trump card was taken, which was very embarrassing. Well, not bad, you have a heart. Li Yi took out the food and started eating it, muttering vaguely. Zhang Tao chuckled and tugged at Li Zhen, saying, Uncle Cat, we won't disturb you anymore. Li Yi waved his paw and gave the two of them a big face as usual, so they had to run away. When we arrived at Hope City, Li Zhen was so frustrated that his killing moves were gone. He used to be reluctant to use them, but now he has been eaten by a cat. No, I'll go find Senior War King right now. This cat is too evil. Li Zhen said directly, he must take down this cat. Zhang Tao nodded, not bad. This cat is in the dungeon of the demon capital, and there will be a lot of variables. It's better to solve it early. Although the cat has not shown any killing intent towards them now, who knows what if other human races encounter it in the future. Everything is an unknown factor, the best solution is to solve it early. However, the War King is on Mount Yuhai. With their current cultivation, they can't pass it and can only return to the ground to wait for news. At this moment, Nan Yunue also came out of the cave and laughed when she saw their big faces. After all, these two guys thought they were the leaders of the younger generation, so what is Nan Yunue? Now seeing these two people with big flower faces, I am naturally happy, and at the same time, I took out my phone and started taking photos. Zhang Tao and Li Zhen's faces turned pitch black. This woman is really not a good person, she even took photos of them. Did you two encounter the cat demon again? What's the situation with the cat demon? Nan Yunue was very curious. Last time, she said Zhang Tao went with the 8th grade master. There was not much news in the end, so she was very curious. Zhang Tao spoke about the cat with a dark face. After all, it doesn't matter how he said it. Nan Yunue is also one of the most arrogant young people, and he didn't hide any of this information. Otherwise, what would happen if he killed Nan Yunue? Upon hearing Zhang Tao's words, Nan Yunue's face also darkened. It turned out to be a 9th grade cat, which was quite impressive and also a very unstable factor. After all, the demon capital had just established the Hope City and would have to face attacks from Tianmen City in the future. With another 9th grade monster, it would be difficult to defend. So you two were just looking for trouble. You're really lucky. Nan Yunue couldn't help but sigh. These two guys are really lucky, and their lives are also big. At the same time, there were several Tianjiao who died with them in the 5th grade, but these two were still alive and well. Alright, I'm back in Jinqing City. Li Zhen waved his hand and ran to Jinqing City. He had to wait and see, maybe he could wait for an ancestor. Zhang Tao shrugged his shoulders. He doesn't plan to come to the Magic City grottos recently. With this cat here, he can't afford it and can only go to the Kyoto grottos to make waves. Of course, he also said hello to Li Zhen. If there is an ancestor who wants to tidy up that cat, remember to tell him that he also wants to go and see it. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. 007 cannot be bypassed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7007 cannot be bypassed soon. Zhang Tao returned to Kyoto and was called over by his teacher, Li Xianling. Xiao Tao, is your Triple Jiao gate about to close? Li Xianling asked. Zhang Tao nodded, not bad. He was about to close a door of qi and blood. As long as it was closed, he would be in the middle of the 6th grade. Li Xianling took out a small piece of energy stone and said, "This is the energy stone used for 10 grams of cultivation. You should practice as soon as possible. The Kyoto caves are a bit chaotic now, and I may not have time to care about you anymore." Zhang Tao took the energy stone, smiled, and said, "Teacher, I know that I have a little essence of life, you take it for standby." Li Xianling shook his head and said, "That's your opportunity. Can you reach a higher level in the future? What else do you need to rely on? I can only go this far in my life, so there's no need to waste it. Moreover, the original way, forget it, I won't talk to you about it for now. You will understand these things in the future." Zhang Tao nodded helplessly, feeling a little uncomfortable as he looked at the energy stone in his hand. The warriors of Hua Kingdom are too difficult, and the resources are even less. This small piece of energy stone is the hard work of many people. In the new era of martial arts, warriors must strive, this is the philosophy given to them by the teacher. But soon, Zhang Tao laughed. He didn't have many cultivation resources, but that doesn't mean he has no way out. After a day of cultivation, Zhang Tao descended from the Kyoto grottos and skillfully arrived at a small hill. Then, Zhang Tao found a cave and drilled in. Gradually, a few hours later, a cave warrior walked over and looked around, saying, "The Heavenly King covers the Earth Tiger." Zhang Tao poked his head out and glanced at the ambush before saying, "Baoda Town River Demon." So the two met and Zhang Tao said directly, "This is the list. If you have any requirements, you can also mention them." After plotting for a while, the cave warrior left and Zhang Tao quickly ran away. However, what Zhang Tao didn't know was that as soon as he touched the cave, Li Yi felt the imprint he had left. He glanced at the distant Kyoto cave, and Li Yi went straight along the Forbidden Sea to find it. When Li Yi arrived here, Zhang Tao was hiding in the cave, and Li Yi didn't disturb him. Instead, he watched with great interest from a distance. Seeing Zhang Tao trading with the cave warrior, Li Yi couldn't help but sigh. Zhang Tao is truly the future king of martial arts. No wonder so many people were able to plant in the cave. At this point, he knew he had traded with the cave warrior. So, the next day, Zhang Tao came back with a devilish mind, and Li Yi waited like this. After the cave warrior arrived, the two of them completed the transaction. Zhang Tao carried a small bundle with many energy stones inside. Just as Zhang Tao was humming a song and about to leave, a familiar feeling came again. He felt like he couldn't move anymore, and suddenly a cold sweat flowed down his face. You wouldn't be so unlucky, did you encounter a high-level monster? Zhang Tao was shocked, but when he saw Li Yi walking slowly in front of him, he breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, it was this cat master. At least, this cat master didn't kill him. But soon, Zhang Tao was stunned. He came specifically to Kyoto Grottos, why could he still come across this cat? Can this cat go anywhere else? Afterwards, Li Yi hooked his hand and the bundle behind Zhang Tao flew in front of him. When he opened it, there were 2 energy fruits and a few small energy stones inside, but the purity was not high enough. 2 energy fruits flew directly into Li Yi's mouth, took a sip, and finished eating. Zhang Tao looked at the energy fruit he had worked so hard to deceive and was eaten by this cat demon. His nose was almost crooked with anger. Ding, you received a rage value of +99 from Zhang Tao. Li Yi glanced at Zhang Tao, and Zhang Tao suddenly burst out with a smile. Hee hee. Li Yi untied Zhang Tao's restraint, and Zhang Tao's face was bitter. His energy fruit, that's how he fed the cat. Fortunately, the energy stone doesn't look like it. At this moment, a 6th grade warrior from the cave rushed forward in a fierce manner, realizing that he had been deceived. The resurrection warrior was so despicable, and indeed, the people in the resurrection land were not trustworthy, deceiving their own resources. After seeing Zhang Tao, the 6th grade warrior raised his long sword and attacked him. For the kitten in front of me, hee hee, I don't care at all. Zhang Tao quickly dodged while secretly complaining in his heart, blaming the cat. Otherwise, he would have left here long ago, and this guy would definitely not have found him. Uncle Cat, this kid is so unreasonable. He's actually using force in front of Uncle Cat. Zhang Tao immediately shouted, while also hiding behind Li Yi. Li Yi rolled his eyes and jumped away directly. Zhang Tao sneered and said, this cat is not helping him. However, Zhang Tao really doesn't care about the 6th grade martial artists of the same level. He is also the pride of the younger generation. At the same level, he has never been afraid of anyone. Suddenly, he punched and kicked at the 6th grade one by one. In no time, he punched the head of the 6th grade warrior and dug out his energy heart. After all, this thing can still be exchanged for many merits. At the same time, Zhang Tao did not forget his fragmented thoughts. Why do you insist on coming back and seeking death? There are not many easy to deceive cave warriors these days. Not bad, Zhang Tao plans to continue deceiving him next time. As for being deceived this time. Hee hee, Zhang Tao had already thought of resigning and said he took the wrong one. He'll go back and take it, and then try to deceive him again. Unfortunately, this guy insists on finding his own way out. Next time, he'll have to find another person. Thinking that his energy had been eaten by the cat, Zhang Tao felt a bit heartbroken, but since he couldn't beat the cat, he could only pretend to be a grandson. What, Uncle Cat? If it's okay, I'll leave first. Zhang Tao put away the energy stone and saved his heart, then spoke up. Li Yi glanced at the distant King City, because he felt that there were people from the penalty area coming, bringing a lot of good things. Go on, go on. Li Yi said and walked towards the royal city with cat steps. Watching Li Yi run away, Zhang Tao snorted and muttered, I'll kill you sooner or later to become a divine weapon, but you're still eating my energy fruit. Damn it. Li Yi doesn't care about Zhang Tao's grunts. He wants to rob a few guys in the penalty area now. At this moment, Huayan arrived at Chiuju City with a 9th-ranked divine general. This Kyoto cave is their territory of the Huai King. They came to Chiuju City because a good seedling has emerged here. He is here to take this seedling to the forbidden area. At the same time, this is also a hope for people like the Outland King City to become more loyal to their ancestors. Jumming, you are very good. You will soon enter the commanding realm and be considered the Tianjiao of the Outland. Don't worry, our Huai family will definitely not treat you unfairly. Huayan directly drew a big cake for Jumming. Kikuming is also respectful, and being able to enter the penalty area of the imperial city is naturally good. Compared to Outland, it has a lot of prospects. It's also great to be able to climb the Huai family. who would let their territory belong to the Huai king. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. 008, This Cat, Why? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8, 008, This Cat, Why? Huaiyan is very satisfied with Zhuming's attitude, which also represents a signal that the Lord of Jucheng is willing to sincerely submit to the King of Huai. Not bad, although this is the territory of King Huai. Among so many cities, there are also many demon-blooded ones, and many city lords from other regions are subordinate to different true kings, and even more belong to the major families of the demon-planting king's court. Anyway, it's complex and intricate. In addition, the Huai king has not been successful as a true king for a long time, and he is also at the bottom among true kings. Therefore, having an additional outer domain lord to join in would greatly increase the power of the Huai king. At this moment, Huaiyan naturally did not know about the fickleness of the Huai king. The Huai king had multiple developments, and it was a bit insulting to say that the Huai king was a slave with 3 surnames. However, the Huai king saw that everyone had defected to him, so he could be said to be a true kaleidoscope. At present, that is everyone's joy. The 3 of them are walking towards the Yuhatian passage and returning to the penalty area from here. Just halfway through, Li Yi appeared and blocked their way forward. Where did the monster come from? This is to block His Highness's path. Huaiyan sneered, but there was a 9th-ranked divine general beside him. Zhuming immediately said, Your Highness, let me go and destroy this monster. It is not worthy of Your Highness and the divine general to take action. Huaiyan nodded and waved his hand, signaling to hurry up. Zhuming immediately drew his sword and chopped towards Li Yi. With a direct pressure of Li Yi's spiritual power, he pushed Zhuming underground. Huaiyan and the 9th-ranked divine general were about to take action, but they were instantly crushed underground. Ding, you received a rage value of +9 from Zhuming. Ding, you received a rage value of +88 from Huaiyan. Ding, you have received a rage value of +9 from Huaifeng. Now Li Yi knows that Huaiyan has a bit of luck and can collect a lot of anger points. The other 2 are absolute cannon fodder, with the highest limit of anger points being 9. Thinking of this, Li Yi stretched out his paw and made a move. Suddenly, the ring on Huai's body flew over. It was a storage ring. There were many things in it, such as essence of life, energy fruit, energy liquid, and a 7th-grade magic weapon knife. Ding, you received a rage value of +99 from Huaiyan. Li Yi chuckled and threw the ring into the world of cats. He walked away with a light and agile pace. The flow of water is endless, and it can't be done all at once. Moreover, cats don't kill people. After a while, Huaifeng came out first and quickly pulled Huaiyan out. As for Zhu Ming, he was also pulled out by Huaifeng later. Your Highness, it's not good. That cat is so terrifying. I am a divine general of Shinto, and I have been suppressed. It's either the peak of Shinto, or the true king. Huaifeng said in fear. To be honest, if it were the peak of Shinto, it wouldn't matter. If it were the true king, it would be terrifying. Huaiyan's face is ugly at the moment, true king. Impossible, definitely not a true king strong person. If it were a true king strong person, how could his ancestor Huai Wang allow other true kings to wander in his territory? It seems that he is the peak demon king of the divine way in this forbidden area. It's just a cat demon, I haven't heard of it. Let's go back to the penalty area first, and I will report to the ancestor later. Huaiyan said, glanced around, snorted, and walked towards the distance. Now his mood is very bad. He is a descendant of the real king, who was actually robbed. The key is, you don't even know who it is, you only know a cat, it's really speechless. But this matter definitely needs feedback, let's see what the forbidden area says then. Walking through the passage and seeing the human warrior, Huaiyan scolded him, but the human warrior didn't pay attention to him. He also teased him and returned to the forbidden area. When passing by Mount Yuhai, Huayan stopped for a while and didn't hear his ancestor's voice. Huayan had to wait until he returned to talk. What Huayan didn't know was that the king of Huai was watching from the mountaintop, just ignoring this descendant. In Kyoto, Zhang Tao returned to his residence and threw his bundle on the bed, feeling a bit headache. He seemed to have been targeted by a cat, and he didn't even go to the Mordo grottos. However, the cat was able to appear in the Kyoto grottos, which is very unscientific. If you say this cat walks through the Yuhaitian passage, he doesn't believe it. Why is this cat? But the fact is, this cat appeared in the Kyoto dungeon. Thinking of the energy fruit he had worked so hard to lay out and was tricked into being eaten by the cat, Zhang Tao felt a surge of relief. The cat had a big problem that must be solved, otherwise he might not be able to live well in the future. Thinking of this, Zhang Tao hurriedly went to find his teacher. However, to his surprise, Chen Guiyang's guard was also present. When he saw Zhang Tao, Chen Guiyang smiled and said, "What's wrong?" Zhang Tao was also polite. After saying hello, he talked about today's Kyoto grottos. Chen Guiyang's face suddenly changed. It was amazing that this cat could travel from the Magic City caves to the Kyoto caves. He had originally planned to talk to the War King about this matter, but he didn't expect the cat to come to his territory. Now, in the Kyoto grottos, he and his old friend Shenhaotian take turns guarding it. So that means Shenhaotian is now at Yuhai Mountain. Thinking of this, Chen Guiyang went directly to Yuhai Mountain. Since this cat is so evil, he decided to go and catch it. Just after asking Shenhao about it at Yuhaitian, Chen Guiyang was speechless, and Shenhaotian didn't feel anything unusual at all. Chen Guiyang had no choice but to release his spiritual power and explore the outer world. However, there was nothing, and Cang Mao was not something that Chen Guiyang, a weak and unparalleled peak, could detect, even at the imperial level. Chen Guiyang, who was feeling depressed, turned around and refused to enter the outer realm at the top. This was a rule set a long time ago, and he couldn't enter either. After all, humans are weak now. Seeing Chen Guiyang return, Zhang Tao looked expectant. Unfortunately, Chen Guiyang said he hadn't found the cat. Zhang Tao talked for a moment, but quickly said, "That cat is better at hiding. Why don't I go in and find the cat? You just need to find me to find the cat." Chen Guiyang thought for a moment and said, "We must lead to Mount Yuhai, otherwise we will still be unable to take action." Zhang Tao nodded and bought some delicious food, still afraid that the cat wouldn't go. So Chen Guiyang went to Mount Yuhai again, and this time he was waiting for Zhang Tao to see if he could succeed. There was also his friend Shenhaotian here. Seeing Chen Guiyang back and forth, Shenhaotian felt a bit helpless. "If you're willing to come and guard, just say, I'll go back and rest. You've been back and forth, don't feel tired." However, upon hearing Chen Guiyang's words, Shenhaotian also nodded and glanced at the Huai King on the opposite mountain top, saying, "I'll stop this guy then. Hurry up." Chen Guiyang nodded. King Huai looked at the two of them with an inexplicable expression on his face. What are these two guys doing? Is there any conspiracy? To target oneself. 1 to 2, you can't beat it yourself. Although the Valley King is weak and unparalleled is also unparalleled. Thinking of this, the King of Huai left directly. Not bad, he just ran away. Anyway, they didn't dare to invade the outland and break the agreement. It was at the expense of humanity, so he ran away and went home first before speaking. A gentleman does not stand under a dangerous wall. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. 009, Cats Are Not Simple. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9, 009, Cats Are Not Simple. Seeing the Huai King run away, Shenhaotian looked inexplicable. But it's also good to save trouble. At this moment, Zhang Tao was already humming a tune and carrying a large bag of things as he entered the cave. There were many acquaintances here, and Zhang Tao was greeting him all the way. There was nothing he could do. As a 20-year-old 6th grade martial artist, Zhang Tao was the most talented besides Li Zhen. The most crucial thing is that Zhang Tao comes from a commoner background, not like Li Zhen. He is the young master of Jinqing City, which cannot be compared. He skillfully arrived at the small hill and looked around, but didn't see the cat. Zhang Tao was a bit puzzled. The cat didn't know where to wander, but Zhang Tao was not in a hurry. He believed that the cat would find him. So he took out a chicken leg and started nibbling on it. It can be said that the food was full of oil, and indeed, Li Yi has arrived. "Oh, Uncle Cat, you're here. This is the food I brought you," Zhang Tao said and handed the bag over. Li Yi glanced at Zhang Tao and said, "Kid, are you holding back something bad?" Zhang Tao chuckled, "Did you see all of this? But can I admit it? I want to eat my butt." She shook her head and said, "No, I just thought of Uncle Cat coming to show you filial piety." Li Yi nodded and believed your nonsense. He opened his mouth and spat out a ring, saying, "I brought too little at once. Here's this for you, I'll bring more in the future." Zhang Tao was taken aback for a moment, then he held the storage ring and almost couldn't laugh out loud. "I went there, and surprisingly, I could get the storage ring myself. You know, only the ultimate ancestor now has it, even Li Zhen doesn't have it." Looking again, Zhang Tao took a deep breath of air conditioning. "You should know, there is not only energy liquid inside, but also a 7th grade divine weapon." Yes, Li Yi drank the essence of life, and ate the energy fruit, which was naturally left. At this moment, Zhang Tao was in a difficult situation. Do he still want to pit this cat? Although this cat has a bad personality, to be honest, it has never killed anyone. Now it has given itself such a big gift. I'm a bit embarrassed to take action. Li Yi gave Zhang Tao a sideways glance. This guy has a lot of mental activity. So Li Yi jumped up and was like a paw on Zhang Tao's face. Ding, you received a rage value of +99 from Zhang Tao. Now Zhang Tao looked at Li Yi with an angry expression on his face. Grass, just now when I was caught in the wind, this cat is still going to be killed. Uncle Cat, I have hidden a big fish on the side of Mount Yuhai, which was killed by my ancestors. This is for you. Zhang Tao quickly said. Li Yi chuckled, really thinking he was a stupid cat. Is it so obvious? Li Yi jumped directly onto Zhang Tao. Zhang Tao became unstable, let out a smack, fell to the ground, and ate a mouthful of mud. Ding, you received a rage value of +99 from Zhang Tao. Li Yi said slowly and leisurely, you're talking about the big fish from Mount Yuhaishan. I've touched it and already eaten it. Zhang Tao rolled his eyes. Ding, you received a rage value of +33 from Zhang Tao. Uncle Cat, I didn't expect you to discover my hidden secrets. It's a pity. I'm even going to offer it to you. Zhang Tao said against his heart. After swallowing all the bags, Li Yi said, next time, bring some hot pot or something. The fried chicken is a bit tired. Zhang Tao was speechless and even brought hot pot. By the way, what is the situation with this cat? How do you know that there is still hot pot in the human world? Who told it? Then Li Yi walked away with cat steps. Zhang Tao opened his mouth and didn't dare to say anything in the end. He could only run back to the ground with a gloomy expression. Chen Gaowu, who was in Yuhai Mountain, felt it after Zhang Tao entered the cave and kept paying attention. However, he saw Zhang Tao waiting on a small hill and then didn't follow. Afterwards, the boy ran back, and Chen Gaowu looked bewildered. Why didn't he follow the plan? So he also said to Shen Haotian and returned to the ground. After returning, seeing the new cat paw mark on Zhang Tao's face, Chen Gaowu fell into deep self-doubt. What was the situation? Did Zhang Tao encounter a cat? Why doesn't one's spiritual power feel it? Guardian, didn't you feel that cat? Zhang Tao asked. Chen Gaowu rolled his eyes and said, no. Zhang Tao is speechless. This cat has a big problem that even Zhu Ding can't feel. I'm going, it's not Zhu Ding cat, is it? At this moment, Zhang Tao is shocked. Chen Gaowu sighed and said, the ultimate is not to enter the outer realm. If the cat had any talent, perhaps it wouldn't have felt it, but cats are not easy. Zhang Tao nodded and explained today's events, as well as taking out the space ring. Li Xianling widened his eyes and said, I'll go. Is this kid so lucky? I'm afraid this student is the son of the fate of this era. When he was in the 4th grade, he picked up a 9th-grade demon plant, especially the one with the essence of life. Now he is in the 6th grade. There are also space rings, 7th-grade magic soldiers, and energy liquid from cats. This is not the son of fate yet. What is it? Chen Gaowu also stared at this spatial ring. There was no spiritual traction inside. Obviously, it shouldn't be some antique investment and layout, was it simply given? There is also this kind of energy liquid, which can only be used by ordinary people in the royal city and restricted areas. Zhang Tao, this kid, is blessed. Speaking of which, this cat wouldn't have robbed any martial artists in the cave royal city. At this moment in Jinqing City, Li Zhen also waited for his ancestors to return and immediately ran forward to inform the Jinqian king about the loss of the differentiation body. As a person from Jinqing City, Li Zhen naturally knows the role of spiritual differentiation. If other true kings gain it and study the path of their ancestors, it will be fatal. This is also why Li Zhen has to wait for their ancestors to come back. The heavenly king nodded, indicating that he knew. Take it, Song Cat. It's nothing anyway. Li Zhen looked indifferent to the appearance of the heavenly king, but he was also somewhat insightful. Isn't it true that this thing is of great importance to Zhu Ding? Why isn't the ancestor in a hurry? Grandfather, that cat can't stay. Li Zhen said immediately. The heavenly king gave Li Zhen a sideways glance. Young man, you are very reckless. Since ancient times, cat killers have never had a good ending. Moreover, this cat has come out boldly, and it must have a reliance. The gray cat is the best at seeking good fortune and avoiding bad luck. Li Zhen is speechless. What kind of gaze is this, ancestor? It's weird. Ancestor? Li Zhen asked tentatively. After thinking for a moment, the heavenly king took out another character and said, don't trouble that cat, it's not easy. Li Zhen took over the differentiated body and could only exclaim, wanting to ask something. The heavenly king was no longer there, and Li Zhen had no choice but to do so. However, from what the ancestor said, it is not difficult to hear that the cat is not easy. The ancestor has said so, isn't it that the cat is probably going to be at its peak? This is terrifying. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. 010, Eyes Red. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10, 010, Eyes Red. Li Zhen is currently diverging his thinking, and there is nothing he can do. The behavior of the heavenly king is very unusual. He knows his own ancestors, but they have killed the ultimate. How could they let a cat go? Even if that cat is about to reach its peak. Wait, Li Zhen suddenly shook all over. I'll go, that cat, isn't it already at its peak, and it's the strongest among the peaks. Otherwise, my ancestors wouldn't be like this. Thinking of this possibility, Li Zhen became even more insightful. Leaving Jinqing City, Li Zhen didn't know what to do for a moment, he was just confused anyway. Yes, find that guy Zhang Tao. Li Zhen thought it through and rushed towards Kyoto. At this moment, Kyoto grottos are already very tense. There was no way, but when the king of Huai returned, he saw Huaiyan and naturally heard about Huaiyan's situation. Thinking of Shen Haotian and Chen Gaowu, was there any conspiracy? There is also a cat demon, who dares to rob the descendants of the true king. This is slapping his face. So King Huai returned to Mount Yuhai and began to transmit messages to the forbidden area. He was surprised to find that there were no cat demons in the forbidden area, and there was no such race. For a moment, the king of Huai was speechless. Could it be some wild demon tribe? It's not impossible, so he unleashed his spiritual power and searched for the outer realm. However, with his spiritual power, how could he possibly find the Tsang cat? Unable to find the cat, the king of Huai could only transmit the message to the Chrysanthemum King city. Although it is unclear whether it was caused by the Resurrection Land, it is definitely right to fight the Resurrection Land. So the Kyoto grottos suddenly became tense, and many high-quality products in Chrysanthemum City began to release their pressure. Shen Haotian, who was on Mount Yuhai, suddenly said coldly, "Huaiying, are you going to war?" King Huai disdainfully glanced at Shen Haotian and said, "Mind me, what can you do when the war starts?" Subsequently, Li Xianling and others were quickly summoned and went down the cave, along with Zhang Tao. Although he was of the 6th rank, the 6th rank was also an important combat force. Li Zhen, who arrived in a hurry, was just about to catch up with the fight. He could only suppress his other thoughts and join forces with Zhang Tao. At the same time, Nan Yunue also arrived, and the three of them became a small team, waiting for the battle to start. Quickly, the people from Chrysanthemum King City came to kill. High quality versus high quality, medium quality versus medium quality, and Zhang Tao's trio also went out. Obviously, no one from the medium quality in the cave was a match for Zhang Tao and his team. The only thing is that the urine in the cave is usually so that they can have more people and bully others, without being bullied. Therefore, a 7th grade person broke away from the battle and went to kill Zhang Tao and the others. The 7th grade master on the human side wanted to stop, but his strength was not enough. He could only speak out and remind, "Be careful, he is in the middle of the 7th grade." Zhang Tao and the others saw the 7th grade of the cave killing the 3rd person, so they quickly turned around and ran away. There was no way, but if they were here, it was very likely to drag on their companions. Just that 7th grade cave recognized Zhang Tao and the three of them, and then chased after them. Running separately or together? Nan Yunue immediately asked. Zhang Tao rolled his eyes and said, "Let's run separately and wait until death. Follow me, let's go find the cat." So Zhang Tao ran very fast in front, followed by Li Zhen and Nan Yunue. However, he arrived at the place where cats often stay, but did not see them. Zhang Tao was a bit anxious, and I went. "This cat is a bit unreliable." Li Zhen said at this moment, "I have the spiritual differentiation body gifted by my ancestors." Zhang Tao became even more speechless and said, "The differentiation body given by our ancestors was used to kill the 9th grade. Killing a 7th grade is too wasteful." As Zhang Tao saw the 7th grade chasing after him, he shouted directly, "Uncle Cat, I've brought you food." The 7th grade of the cave following behind is actually very depressed. It's outrageous that one 7th grade of oneself can't catch up with several 6th grades in commanding the realm. But he gradually became happy. What does this mean? These three guys are geniuses from the land of rebirth. Killing geniuses is something he loves the most. So when I saw a few people stopping and shouting, the 7th grade of the cave sneered and slashed towards me with a knife. Zhang Tao turned around and used his 7th grade divine weapon to strike a knife. Although he countered the attack from the opposite side, he was also shocked and spat out blood. "Run!" Zhang Tao continued. After speaking, "Run towards the Forbidden Sea." Li Zhen was taken aback for a moment, and then he also bravely followed Zhang Tao. Nan Yunue was speechless. "What is this? Are you going to die?" Surprisingly running towards the Forbidden Sea. "Do you want to be so reckless?" But when both of them ran, she naturally followed too. "Don't be afraid, I don't know what mark that cat left on me." I seem to have nothing to do in the Forbidden Sea, and there are no monsters attacking us. At worst, Li Zhen also has the spiritual differentiation of his ancestors. We will be fine. Zhang Tao explained directly. Nan Yunhua suddenly realized, no wonder this guy is so reckless. The 7th rank behind hesitated. These guys are not taking their lives anymore, they are actually running towards the Forbidden Sea. What a pity, they are looking for death. However, what widened his eyes was that these guys were standing above the Forbidden Sea and surprisingly nothing happened. Looking back at him, it felt like a provocation. The 7th grade of the cave snorted, which means there are no more demon beasts here. Then why don't you guys die? Thinking about it, I rushed over and just as I approached the Forbidden Sea, I was entangled by a tentacle and dragged into the sea, completely without any vitality. Zhang Tao and others suddenly had their scalp split. I'll go, there's a 9th grade monster below. Because they saw that there was more than one, several special ones. So Zhang Tao and the 3 of them slowly flew back to the shore, and the monster did not attack them, making them breathe a sigh of relief. At this moment, Li Yi slowly walked over and said, "Yo, did you just call me? Did you bring me food?" Zhang Tao rolled his eyes and wiped your fairy's eyes. "Where did you die just now? Now something special has come out." Ding, you received a rage value of +44 from Zhang Tao. Seeing the dangerous light in Li Yi's eyes, Zhang Tao hesitated and quickly took out items and materials such as hot pot from the storage ring. When Li Zhen saw it, his eyes immediately turned red. When I went to Nima, even this top-notch descendant of Laozi didn't have storage equipment. Surprisingly, Zhang Tao did. Nan Yunhua also looked shocked. Zhang Tao, when did he have storage equipment? Moreover, it is still the most precious storage ring, so both of them are envious. Zhang Tao, how can he be? Uncle Cat, look, this is what I prepared for you, but there's no fire, look. Zhang Tao said with a flattering expression on his face. Li Yi's eyes lit up. Hot pot, Zhang Tao is still very good at it. So he rubbed the cat's paws directly, and a flame rose from below. Zhang Tao and the 3 of them glanced at each other and saw the terror in each other's eyes. I have no idea what this means. However, the pot brought by Zhang Tao didn't work and was directly burned by the flames. I didn't persist for even a second. For a moment, the scene fell into a eerie silence. End of this chapter.